Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Samuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, They Be Born Speaking Lies. They be born speaking lies. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called They Be Born Speaking Lies. All right, and just saw this article. All right, it says the F to the D to the ISA finally admits, all right, that the jump shot deleted kids. It says this is a profound revelation. All right, this is from the Blaze News. All right, so it says millions of Babylonians across country were told during the jump era to offer up their arms for that jump shot. It says the first ever approved, right, by the U.S. food. It says if they wanted to keep their jobs, right, eat in public, stay in school, visit their loved ones. It says the government officials, the establishment, media, and pharmaceutical representatives claim that the jump shots were safe. It says those who dared to suggest otherwise, were often attacked and censored. It says months after the health, it says I gotta kind of speak in code, all right, but it says the administration admitted in an internal letter that the jump shot deleted numerous children, healthy young children who faced tremendously low risk of deletion were coerced. It says Dr. Vinay praised chief med, all right, and director, noted in an email to staff on Friday that they have found that at least 10 children were deleted because of receiving the jump shot. It says in the email, which was revealed by multiple publications and shared online to the Washington Post, performed an analysis of 96 deletions between 2021 and 2024. It concluded that no fewer than 10 were related. It says, if anything, this represents conservative coding where the jump shots were excapulated rather than indicated in case of ambiguity. All right. It says the real number is higher. It says these deletions are related to the jump shot. It says that number is certainly underestimated due to underreporting and bias and attribution. All right. Let's see. It says this safety signal has far-reaching implications for Babylonians, the jump shot response, and the agency itself. Okay. So let's see if we can read. It said despite strong improbability of a normal kid getting seriously ill. It says, Salaki, I'm just kind of jumping through. It says, it said they champion injecting kids. All right. So it says on November 2nd, 2021, Sleepy Joe uh, gave final approval, all right, for the jump shot for kids 5 to 11. It says it's a major step forward for our nation and our fight to, defeat the jump shot. But it says the jump shot for younger children than 5 began across the U.S. in 2022. It says they quoted that these are safe, highly effective, and will give parents peace of mind. All right. It says Prasad noted in his Friday letter that despite evidence that the jump shot puts boys and young men at great risk of microcardiasis, it says, let's see, it did not quickly admit mitigation strategies such as spacing doses, lowering doses, or omitting doses among those. All right. Um, let's see. Myocardosis, it says, is an inflammation of the heart muscle that can manifest as various symptoms, including heart chest, fainting, weakness. Um, so it says worse. All right. The food and everything else, it says delayed acknowledgement of the safety signal until after it could extend uh, marketing authorizations to younger boys 12 to 15. All right. Had acknowledged come earlier, these younger boys who likely did not require the jump shot may have chosen to avoid the products. All right. Um, right. I'm not going to read too much, right? Because it's hard to code it. All right. But they're seeing that they know that they messed up, man. All right. But they got a lot of people to follow, what they wanted to do. All right. They got a lot of people to follow, suit. All right. And what? It costs the deletions of young children. All right. But, this is what happens when uh you have the wicked in authority, man. All right. Um Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. I don't have it on my list, but Proverbs 29 and verse number 2. And it reads, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. It says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right. Fully healthy kids, all right, getting deleted, right? Because they got stuck with something that they needed not. All right. Your body, naturally forms defenses. And what are you doing? You're giving stuff to break down those defenses. All right. Um, let's get this. Let's go to the book of Psalm. Let's go to 58. And we'll start at verse number 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. It says they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right. And this is all, part of the agendas of those top elites. All right. Who want full control. All right. Who want to bring in this, this new world, order. All right. And they're doing these things, right? You have the, what is that? The Agenda 2030. All right. Where they want to, mass depopulate, the globe, the earth. Okay. That's all their plans. So anything that they can do to try to decrease, that's what they're doing. All right. And they're seeing like who is willing, right? Because ultimately this agenda is leading up to, full control. All right. Using what? Their ultimate, device, which will be Revelation 13:16. All right. That RFID hip. All right. At the end of the day. Okay. So it says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right. Soon as they're born, they're speaking lies. All right. It says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. All right. And that's what they was out there, stabbing folks with, man. All right. That poison, man, that serpent. That it says they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. Okay. And for those so folks won't get simple, let's go to who the wicked is. All right, we'll bring that out. Let's go to the book of Malachi. All right, 1, and we'll go to verse number 4. Let's start at verse 3. It says, "And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." All right. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahawah, Bahasham of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahawah, Bahasham have indignation forever." Okay, and you see why. All right, because what is they're like a cancer. All right, and what is a cancer? It spreads, right, and it spreads and destroys everything in its path. All right, that's why usually what happens, they got to cut it out. All right, they got to make sure it's nothing left. Okay, but Esau, Edom, all right, they are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Okay. They are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, all right? And the scriptures talk about, these are milk scriptures, that we're going through, all right? Job chapter 9 and verse number 24, all right? It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked." It says, "He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Where and who is he?" All right, so the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? All right, ultimately it's Esau, Edom. All right, and started with those top banking families, those elites. All right, on down. All right, and you see the wickedness. All right, that's in their hearts. All right, they're always trying to come up with a way to destroy. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that, Salakia. Let's go to book of Proverbs, right, chapter 4. And let's start at verse number 14. It says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked. Go not in the way of evil men." It says, "Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away." All right. It says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fail." All right, that's ultimately, they mean no good. All right, at the end of the day. All right, and you got to understand who you're dealing with. Okay, the wicked. All right, and the scriptures talk about, the enemies of the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When you go to Psalms 83, all right, it tells you, who your top enemy is. All right, so it says, Psalms 83 and 2, it says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head." Right, so the people who hate you, would they do you any good? All right, and you saw during that, that era, what were they doing? They were always saying, and it was just making it so blatant. Listen, this thing is gonna really affect. They always said the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's what they would say. This right here, this is really going to affect it. So most of you need to be taking this. All right, you need to go take this jump shot. That's how they were pushing it. All right, throughout the whole time. All right, and they were getting mad at Jake because Jake was running around, having jump shot parties, and no mask on, doing the most, but they were targeting Jake, man. Okay. So So it says, so the enemies, right? And let's read the verse 6. It says, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes. All right. But that top enemy is Edom, Esau, Edom, who's in charge right now, right? Who the Bible says is the wicked. All right. And what is, if he's your top enemy, what good is he going to do to you? All right. You think he's going to actually do something that's going to, do well to you? No. All right. He wants to keep, enough pressure upon you. All right. That he can continue to tread upon you. Okay. Salakia. Dang. This thing is just, let's just skip down. All right. Let's go to, got a lot going on here. Bear with me, please. Let's go to the book of Micah. Right. Micah 2 and verse number 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. All right. Remember, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So because the earth is given into their hand, right, they practice their wickedness. All right. To the point where they'll do studies, and they'll do studies and things, and they'll call it a demic. All right. They'll say, yeah, we got a demic going on, and they'll try to collect as much data, right? Because all this really is like a precursor. All this is for, their ultimate plan, which is Revelation 13:16. All right. So they're trying to gather to see how many people, if they say, hey, this is happening, you need to do this, how many people are going to follow, how many are not, right? You got to understand who you're dealing with. That's why the scriptures tell you, the book of Ecclesiasticus, right, 12 and verse number 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wipest a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. All right. He'll come smooth with it. All right. Yeah, listen, we understand that this is going on, but we have a solution. We have a plan. All right. Come and get this. At first they were like, hey, you need to come and get this. Then they started, you could tell their demeanor started to change. Oh, we'll pay you to take it. Okay, well, guess what? You can't go eat. You're not going to work. You're not going to do it unless you take it, right? That's what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, it disappeared. Like, it's like, yep, my job is done. I'm going, So you can't trust your enemy, man. And you had a lot of our simple-minded people, man. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans falling for it, man. All right, falling for it. Go on and take some of that juice, man. All right, and now you see a lot of our people have paid for that. At the end, celebrities, athletes taking that stuff. All right, and it cost them, okay, because they put their trust in their enemy, man. All right. Let's go to. So I kind of did this opposite way. So let's go to Salakia. Let's go to Ezekiel. Right, and I got one more after this. Salakia, man. Two more, Salakia. Let's go to Ezekiel. And bear with me, please. Ezekiel 35. And we'll start at verse number, let's see. We'll start at verse 2. All right. It says, son of man, set thy face. This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham, the Most High Power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee. And it says, and I will make thee most desolate. It says, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? And, this is whom the Lord has indignation forever. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. It says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the Most High Power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, right? Because they're quick to shed blood, all right? However they want to do it. They might not have to pull out a sword or something else. What do? They'll just give you, here's some of this serpent poison, take some of this. This is going to heal you, right? And they'll tell you with a straight face, yeah, take this, all right? They'll have the leader of the free world sitting on, like they did, sitting on live TV taking a placebo. All right. This is their mindset. All right. So it says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Okay. Because ultimately, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to eradicate this. All right. I mean, it's a cancer, man. All right. They, the scriptures talk about, the three types of men. All right. You have the children, the children of men. You have the children of the wicked, and you have the children of the Most High. All right. The children of the Most High are the Israelites. All right. The children of men, right? The children of the wicked is Esau, and then the children of men are the other nations. Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 2, verse 22. It says, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressor shall be rooted out of it. All right. Because the Lord has got to completely destroy Esau. All right. Because he's programmed just to do these type of things. All right. And so the Lord's going to have to just completely cut him off. All right. Because he can't get right. All right. Neither does he want to. All right. And the scriptures tell you, and I'm going to close it out here. Revelation 11 and verse number 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Okay. And they've conquered the earth, through bloodshed, through deceit. All right. And it's not going to end until they're completely wiped out. All right. That's why the scriptures talk about Babylon the Great. It says, thus with violence shall this place be thrown down. Right. Because how was it established? Through violence. All right. All right. Through deletions. All right. Through craftiness. Okay. So the Lord is going to recompense, it upon them. All right. At the end of the day. All right. But they, they're born from, they're born speaking these lies. They're born, with this mentality, man. All right. And ultimately the Lord is going to have to delete them. All right. So it says in Proverbs with 29 and 2. All right. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. All right. That's what we're looking for. All right. It says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And we see. All right. And people are looking for, to rejoice. Right. Even the other nations at this point. All right. So I just want to do this quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying. All right. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Allah Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, of mighty Shalom, to the 144,000 men double honors to the apostles and elders, a GMS with rude well to the spirit, that fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect in the household of faith, man. All right. David said, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right. We should be praying that. All right. Because this devil, he doesn't play fair. All right. And he's always lying and deceiving. All right. To come up. All right. That's why it says never trust your enemy. All right. As iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. All right. When you see these things, you should be thinking of what's the agenda on it. All right. While they smile in your face. All right. And as soon as you turn away, they pulling out that, that jabber to try to get you. All right. So put your trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. In these last days. All right. But with that, I say a ball, and shalom.